Welcome everyone. Today our topic is related to respiration. So here I have one question. What is respiration and how does it occur? So we will discuss this question in this video only. Student, and this is from lesson Life Processes in Living Organism part 1 lesson, and this is part 2 video of this lesson for class 10 science 2. So let's answer this question. Alright, first of all let's understand what is respiration, okay, and how does it occur. So respiration is a process in which glucose it is a constituent of the carbohydrate, okay. So respiration is a process in which the glucose or molecule of glucose is broken down with the help of oxygen, and energy is released along with the production of a carbon dioxide and water. So this is a respiration. So what is it? It is a process in which the glucose is break down with the help of oxygen, okay. That means here glucose is oxidized and energy is released during this process of respiration with the production of carbon dioxide and water molecules. So this is a respiration. And in living organisms, respiration occurs at two levels, that is first is body level and next is a cellular level. Now what is body level respiration? So in case of a body level respiration, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged between the body and surrounding, okay. So here I have mentioned one picture, that is oxygen from the lungs, it is exchanged to the blood, okay, and the carbon dioxide which is there in the blood, it is coming towards the lungs, okay, and from the lungs it is breathed out from our body. So this is how the oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged with the help of a body level respiration, okay. And next is a cellular level respiration, in which food is oxidized. Now food is oxidized, that means glucose is oxidized either with or without the help of oxygen to release energy. So here we have the different food constituent like carbohydrate, glucose, lipids, protein, okay. So these foods are oxidized, okay, with either in presence of oxygen or in absence of oxygen to release or to produce energy. So this is the respiration, and there are two types of respiration, body and cellular level. Alright, so I have mentioned here the human respiratory system on the screen. So the first part of the human respiratory system is a nasal cavity. So from the nasal cavity, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged, okay. That means we are inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide from the nasal cavity only. And here when the air, we are breathing in the air or oxygen, what happens? It goes to the pharynx, okay. Now here what is pharynx? So student, pharynx is nothing but it is also called as a throat, okay, from which the air is entered from the nasal cavity to the below parts towards the lungs. And this is a larynx. This is also, larynx is also called as a voice box, which is which send air further towards the lungs, okay. This is below the pharynx. And next is a trachea. So student, trachea is also called as a windpipe. So it is a long tube which connects the larynx to the bronchi. So these are the lungs. And the trachea or windpipe, after entering into the lungs, it is divided into the branches, and this is called as a bronchi. And here we have the magnify part of the bronchi, in which you can observe the tubules, sac-like structure, okay. So these are the tiny air sac called as a alveolus. And this is a diaphragm which separates the respiratory organs from the digestive organ. So below the diaphragm there is digestive organ, okay. So this is a partition between the respiratory system and the digestive system. So this is all about the human respiratory, all the organs which are related to the respiratory system. Alright, now living organism and energy production. So student, we have seen the two types of respiration, cellular respiration and body level respiration, okay. Now let us discuss about the cellular respiration. So what is this? In cellular respiration we have seen that food molecules or glucose is oxidized to produce the energy along with carbon dioxide and water molecule, okay. So here you can observe the energy, and this energy is in the form of ATP molecules. Okay, now here we have to answer some question. First question is, how many atoms of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are respectively present in a molecule of a glucose? So here you can observe the molecule of a glucose, and the formula of glucose is C6H12O6. So how many molecules are there in glucose molecule? So there are 6 atoms of a carbon, and hydrogen it is 12, and 6 atoms of a oxygen is there. Alright, so this is about the glucose. And next question is, which types of a chemical bonds are present between all these atoms? That means in glucose we have carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atom. Okay, so between these which types of bonding is there? So in between these, in glucose molecule, atoms of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are held together by means of a covalent bond. And covalent bond it is formed by mutual sharing of the electrons. Okay, and in terms of a chemistry, what happens actually when a molecule is oxidized? That means when glucose molecule is oxidized, or it will reacting with the oxygen, what will happen? So when a molecule is oxidized, it gains oxygen. Okay, that means it will react it with oxygen, and or electron or hydrogen will be loses from the molecule, and we can say the energy can be released during this oxidation process. Okay, because here losing of electron is happening. So this is all about the cellular respiration, and this reactions, that is a reaction of a cellular respiration, glucose is oxidized. So this is very important reaction. Okay, so you have to remember this very well. Alright, now next part we have so the carbohydrate of the food that we consume every day are mainly utilized for production of energy required for daily need. That means we are performing different functions in our daily life, like externally and internally also. Okay, so all these functions are required, all to perform all these functions we need energy. Okay, and the carbohydrate of the food which we are consuming, it is utilized for the production of energy in our body cell. And this energy is obtained in the form of a ATP. So ATP is the energy rich molecule, okay, which is releases during the cellular respiration. And ATP full form is adenosine triphosphate. Okay, and for this purpose, glucose, a type of a carbohydrate. Okay, so glucose is a constituent part of a carbohydrate. So a type of a carbohydrate is oxidized. That means glucose is reacting with oxygen step by step in the cell. So there are various reaction happening during the cellular reaction. So it is step by step oxidized. Okay, and energy is released, and this is called as a cellular respiration. And cellular respiration occurs among the living organism by 2 methods. So first method is aerobic respiration, in which the glucose is oxidized in presence of oxygen. Okay, oxygen is involved. And next is this is a reaction of aerobic respiration. C6H12O6 plus O2 will produces carbon dioxide, water and energy also, that is ATP molecule also. And anaerobic respiration, that is oxygen is not involved here, that is anaerobic respiration happening in absence of oxygen. Okay, and the reaction is glucose, it's incompletely oxidized into alcohol plus carbon dioxide. Okay, so these are the 2 different reactions. You have to remember the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Okay, and a student, in aerobic respiration there are total 38 ATP molecules are produced, and in anaerobic respiration there are only 2 molecules of ATP are produced or released. Okay, so now here we have to study about aerobic respiration. Okay, so first of all, in aerobic respiration, it is a respiration which takes place in presence of oxygen. Okay, or glucose is oxidized in presence of oxygen. So in aerobic respiration, glucose is oxidized in 3 steps. First step is glycolysis, and glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. And second step is the tricarboxylic acid cycle, or it is also called as a Krebs cycles, and electron transfer chain reaction. So glycolysis happening in the cytoplasm of the cell, and the 2 types like Krebs cycle and electron transfer chain reaction, these 2 are happening or occurring in the mitochondria of the cell. Okay, so mitochondria is known as a powerhouse of the cell. So energy production happening in the mitochondria of the cell. So this is powerhouse. Alright, so let's understand first step, that is a glycolysis. So student, the process of glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, that means outside the nucleus, cytoplasmic matter is there in which the glycolysis takes place, and a molecule of glucose is oxidized step by step in this process. So here we have seen a glucose is reacting with oxygen or oxidized to form 2 molecule of pyruvic acid, 2 molecule of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, and 2 molecule of NADH2 plus 2 molecule of water. Now NADH2 is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Okay, so here, and molecules of pyruvic acid formed in this process are again converted into molecules of acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, and 2 molecules of NADH2, that is nicotinamide nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and 2 molecules of carbon dioxide are also releases during this process. So student, all this process of a glycolysis is happening where it is occurring in the cytoplasm of the cell. Alright, now next is the tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle. So student, the both molecule which are produces in the first step of glycolysis, that is acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, so both the molecule of acetyl coenzyme A will enter into the mitochondria. That means acetyl coenzyme A will be enter into the mitochondria from the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, so here you can observe the various chain reaction, that is citric acid cycle. Okay, so acetyl coenzyme A, it is converting into NADH2, then carbon dioxide is formed, FADH2. So this is a chain reaction of a Krebs cycle which happening into the mitochondria of the cell. Okay, so the cyclic chain of a reaction called as a tricarboxylic acid cycle is operated in the mitochondria of the cell. And student, acetyl part of the acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, so only the acetyl part is completely oxidized through this cyclical process, and molecules of carbon dioxide, water, NADH2, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and FADH2 means flavin adenine dinucleotide, are produces or derived during the tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle. Alright, now next step is electron transfer chain reaction. So this also occur in the mitochondria of the cell after the Krebs cycles. Okay, so the molecule of NADH2, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and FADH2, that is flavin adenine dinucleotide, formed during all above process. All above process means Krebs cycle. Okay, which are formed in the Krebs cycle or Tca cycle process, participate in the electron transfer chain reaction. It means electron will change between the NADH2 and FADH2 to form the ATP. Okay, and one molecule, due to this 3 molecules of ATP are obtained from each NADH2. It means from one NADH2 molecule 3 ATP molecule are obtained, and from 1 molecule of FADH2 2 molecules of ATP can be obtained. And besides ATP, water molecule, that is H2O, are also formed in this reaction. And in this reaction, an electron transfer chain reaction is operated in mitochondria only, and thus a molecule of glucose is completely, okay, so here glucose is completely oxidized in aerobic respiration, that means in presence of oxygen, and molecule of carbon dioxide and water are produced along with the energy. Now energy in the form of a ATP molecule. Alright, so NADH2 full form is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and FADH2 means flavin adenine dinucleotide. So this also you have to remember. Alright, now here we have the ATP, that is energy currency, and ATP is the adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so student, adenosine triphosphate or ATP is the energy rich molecule, and energy is stored in the bonds by which the phosphate group are attached to each other. So here you can observe it is a battery is fully charged. Okay, so this is when battery is fully charged, it is the adenosine triphosphate. It means 3 phosphate groups are there. Here you can observe the structure of the adenine. Okay, so here you can observe the adenine is attached to the ribose sugar, and the ribose is attached to the 3 phosphate. That is why it is called as the adenosine triphosphate. It means 3 phosphate groups are attached to this adenine and ribose group. Okay, so it is a high energy bond. Okay, and when it is utilized, it is converted the two between among the three phosphate group, one phosphate group can be broken down and it is converted into the adenosine diphosphate. Okay, and free amount, very amount of energy or ATP can be releases during this reaction. And the student, chemically ATP's triphosphate molecule formed from adenosine ribonucleoside, and it contains a nitrogenous compound, that is adenine, pentose sugar, that is 5 carbon sugar, and it is pentose sugar means ribose, and 3 phosphate group. Okay, and as per the need, energy is derived by breaking the phosphate bond of ATP. That means one phosphate bond will be break down and energy will be produces, and hence ATP is called as the energy currency of the cell. That means whenever the energy is needed by the body, it is produces in the cell. Okay, so student, if there is insufficient amount of a carbohydrate in body due to the exceptional condition like fasting and hunger, that means we are in condition of fasting and hunger, so what happened, the amount of carbohydrate will be insufficient in our body. So in that case, the lipids and proteins are used for the energy production. And in case of a lipids, they are converted into fatty acids, whereas proteins into amino acids. So here you are going to observe the lipids are converting into fatty acid, then it will produces the acetyl coenzyme A, and then Krebs cycle and energy production process will be same, followed same. And in case of a proteins, it is converted into amino acid, then amino acid will converted into the acetyl coenzyme A, and then the same procedure will be repeated. So in carbohydrate only glycolysis will happening, and pyruvic, it is converted into pyruvic acid. So these two steps are absent in case of lipids and proteins. So fatty acids and amino acids are converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and energy is obtained through complete oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A by the process of Krebs cycle in mitochondria. So these are the different steps in the process of production of the energy, that is ATP. Alright, now introduction to scientists. We have process of glycolysis which are happening in the cytoplasm of the cell. So this process was discovered by the three scientists, Gustav Ambidin, Otto Markov, and Jacob Panas, along with their colleagues. And for this purpose, they perform experiment on the muscles, and hence glycolysis is also called as the Ambidin-Markov-Panas pathway, that is EMP pathway. So student, glycolysis, in short, we can say that it is an EMP pathway because this is a contribution of the three scientists along with their colleagues. Alright, now next is this cyclical reaction of a tricarboxylic acid cycle, that means Tca cycle, where were discovered by the Sir Hans Krabbe, and these are the Sir Hans Krabbe, and hence the cyclical process is also called as a Krebs cycle. So as this is discovered by the scientist Krebs cycle, it is known as a Krebs cycle also. And he has been awarded the Nobel Prize in 1953 for this discovery. So student, I hope that's it for today. I hope you all have understood this lesson, and next part will continue in our next session. Thank you.